But then we also definitely work with artists who are not natural influencers and are maybe more averse to social media in general. So this is something that we've just been digging into a bit more this year and trying to find a way around that and find a way to sort of take the burden off of the artist. So what has worked for some of the bands that we work with and individual musicians is to just pull together as much content as possible. So start capturing stuff really early when the artists are in the studio or behind the scenes on photo shoots and video shoots, pulling live footage from anywhere, pulling fan videos, like repurposing interview clips, even pulling stuff like video clips off of maybe individual band members, like personal Instagram stories and anything like that that you can find to start to bank content and just toss up there. I think when you can kind of separate the artist from the creator, sometimes that can help, and even just do the uploads, on without the artist's involvement, if they're okay with that. And I think just being a little bit less precious with what's going up in these placements, like, an 8-second clip of an artist walking on stage can be like the top performing video. And those are the kinds of things that actually we have seen perform really well. It's like the stuff that's less polished.
It can be relentless for the artists, the managers, the teams on the labor side of things. The very nature of short form means that it requires very high volumes, and to keep audiences engaged, you just have to keep churning out content, keeping up with the latest trends, and that's just technically a 24/7 job. So with us, it's very much about kind of trying to figure out what works for artists, what are they comfortable with, what works for them as well as their audiences. And I think it's not a one size fits all approach. Everyone's sort of touched on this before, but we really have to assess, is the artist willing to be front and center, or are they not? If they are, great, you can lean into that and promote their personality alongside their music. If they're not, and I think James touched on this before, you need to figure out a clever way to tell stories, whether that's the artist's story or another story that they might want to tell from the world that they live in, the fans that share their stories.
I think anything that drives the artist back to their process, especially if there's someone who doesn't have a very extroverted personality. So they're not the type to be like, come and look around my home and share tidbits of their lives and may not be as humorous. I think the best way is to keep them to their craft. So get them back in the studio, get them to do something that comes to them naturally, something that is tied to something that they love, and then that is the focus rather than who they are. I think it gets a lot of anxiety out of the way and comments that may be a bit more personal to them that they may not be in a place to handle. So yeah, bring it back to the music.